Hey sweetheart, welcome in to the last video of Pride Month. How are you? How was your Pride? I know we technically have about a week left, but for me it's the last day that I'm posting. You got itchies. I'm sorry. I also have my cat in here today, so if I seem a little distracted, the birthday girl is in here. Well, not your birthday yet. Tomorrow's your birthday. Yesterday for you. But birthday girl's in here. If she wants to come over, I'll show you her, but she never does. Now, today I have built you townhouses in The Sims inspired by pride flags. So I am going to get right into that and I'll see you there. Alright, so I originally started this with 4 houses and then I was getting overwhelmed. I started in, I think it's called Nordhaven, the town from Business and Hobbies. And I had 4 houses going. I was on a 50 by 40 lot. And I just ended up getting really overwhelmed by it, which I know is such a dumb thing to say. But I felt like so many pride flags, at least the ones I was planning on using, use so many of the same colors. And it just got really repetitive really fast for me, and I felt like I was running out of colors, and I was tired. I finished this at 4 a.m. So I kind of just knocked one off, but for a while we're going to be in the business and hobbies town, and we're going to be looking at 4 houses. But we started with the aromantic flag. I tried to use flags I feel like people don't do a lot. And I guess that's technically cheating because I did the non-binary flag, but I wanted to use a flag we had in the game that was also one of my flags because I felt like it was really fitting, and we landed on non-binary because I had already done lesbian. If I hadn't already done a lesbian flag build this month and I had the Ace Flux flag in The Sims, I would have done my 3 flags for this, and I think that would have been really fun. I don't know, if they ever update it and add Ace Flux, I will, but I don't know, I think the color scheme would be so fun to have lesbian, non-binary, and Ace Flux just beside each other. They're such pretty colors. I'll probably put them on screen so you can, compare them. But I had Sims planned out for every house in here. I was going to do aromantic, gender fluid, non-binary, and the gay man flag. I ended up taking the gay man flag out, but in my head they were gonna be influencers, and their names were gonna be Stan Highwell and Will Chester, and they were gonna be a Sims knockoff version of Dan and Phil, which, I mean, maybe that would get me in trouble if I had built a gay flag house that was inspired by Sims that were supposed to be Dan and Phil knockoffs, but I think the concept of Dan and Phil knockoffs in The Sims would be so funny. And we already have the influencer career in the little YouTube table from different packs, so I doubt they'll ever add influencers again. But you can't tell me it wouldn't be funny, because knowing The Sims, they'd probably have them have full friendship and romance bars, but then not be in a relationship. You can figure out what they got going on. That's not our issue. Because it's literally what they do in real life. I'm not real person fanfictioning you right now, but they'll be like, yeah, so the builder decided Phil was the wife between us, and that's not what you say about your buddies. Who says stuff like that about their pals? But I think it's really funny. I say stuff like that about my pals, actually, now that I think about it. Anytime me and my friends go out to eat, they always give the check to the other person, even if I'm the more mask one at the table. I don't know, I get assigned bottom by waiter everywhere I go, and this is so unfair. I have got to get a carabiner. I cannot be disrespected like this. Hi! Oh, I thought she was gonna come here. Danny! Dimboro! She doesn't love me. Anyway, something I did with this house was, other than a genuine laundry room, is instead of feature walls, I did feature corners, kind of like you'd see in a corporate place. I don't know, I made the aromantic one very corporate, and maybe that's wrong of me, but I watched The Pit 1.5 times in June. Hopefully by the time I finish the month, I will have watched it 2 full times in June. I don't know. The sim who lived here in my head was a mix of Santos and Abbott. Because, like, to me, Abbott is aromantic. I don't know. I have sexuality headcanons on, like, every doctor and nurse in that show. But Abbott is aromantic to me, and I thought it would be really fun. But I imagine Santos living not exactly a place like this, but there's a guest bedroom upstairs that's really, like, bland and lifeless, almost hotel room-like, because I feel like it doesn't get used very much. It's probably for, like, the sim who lives here's, like, sibling or something if they were to visit, or, like, you know, when a sim invites themselves over, it gives them somewhere to go. So I didn't feel like it was something that got used a lot. And I imagine, like, that's where Santos put Whitaker. I don't know. That's a major spoiler. I'm so sorry. I'll put, like, a warning on there that I'm about to spoil it. But also, it came out months ago, and season 2 is already in production. So, that's not on me. Oh, speaking of, I'm so glad that The Pit is filming like cable TV used to. I feel like for a really long time, streaming and... Oh, I used the knitted flag there. I'll come back to that thought. I had a goal where I didn't want to use the same version of the pride flag in every house. So I used all 3 flags, not the, like, shelving or the photos, like the flags. Like the crocheted one, the one with the lights, and the one hung traditionally. Used all 3 in each house. Each one had a different one. But back to what I was saying about The Pit. I feel like streaming and social media has killed the film industry, and it's killed movies, and it's so exciting to see a TV show filmed like a TV show again. Because as someone who wants to work makeup on film sets one day, which, like, I'm currently trying to make makeup feel fun again and feel like me again, trying to get my confidence back in it, because my older jobs, I had so much confidence in it, but I don't do makeup at work anymore, and so I feel like I'm losing my confidence, and I'm trying to get it back. Like, this one, I have, like, a double wing going on, and it's black, purple, and white. I did non-binary flag makeup, and I'm really proud of this one. I feel like, despite the fact that I do videos where I'm doing my makeup, I haven't done a video where I genuinely felt proud of my makeup in a while, and I feel like I do this time. I mean, I liked my lesbian flag one for the last one, so maybe it's just when I'm filming, I'm more in my head about it. But I'm trying to get my love for makeup back, and I want to work film sets one day. I mean, preferably practicals, but if not, I'd like to work editorial makeup. And if I'm working film sets, the concept that we're bringing film back, and we're taking it back from, like, the streaming setup, and we're gonna take 8 years to film this sort of thing, is so exciting, because I feel like it gives job security back to people in those areas. Because, I mean, when you're going 3 years between seasons, you have to find jobs between those. But if you're cast, especially, you've got to be able to keep yourself open for your project you're already signed on to, or they have to write your character out. And I feel like in bringing back the concept of the way film used to work, we're kind of bringing back job security in that area, and that's really exciting. So I'd love to see more shows and more streaming services do what The Pit is doing right now and go back to the traditional couple months on, couple months off filming that worked for years. I don't know. I'm going to come back to the build for a minute, though. We are currently doing the living room. I think the Aromantic house turned out to be my least favorite, just because I didn't really have a vibe. Like, in my head, this doctor was kind of just living there. Like, he's probably ER or surgery, and he's not home often, so he doesn't really care. I don't know, maybe that's wrong of me, but I like to imagine he was just kind of busy, and he just kind of has furniture that he thinks looks nice, that he didn't really care if they matched. I know 2 out of 3 of these townhouses, I use those base game counters that come in 800 colors, but they're weirdly modern, weirdly contemporary, like, not great. They're not the best. I had fun though. I had a lot of fun with this build. Like, that's kind of just what it comes out to. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. This was just fun. I had a good time. I watched 2 separate movies while doing the Aromantic house. I did, In a Violent Nature and The Sacrifice Games. One of those is a Christmas movie. I didn't really read what The Sacrifice Games was about. I kind of just went into it blind. It's a Shudder original. I feel like we don't give Shudder originals enough credit. I had a great time. I love a good Shudder original, and I think they're really, really fun. And I had a good time with it. It's nothing original. Like, respectfully, how many 70s themed cult movies where they think they're doing one ritual and they're doing another have we gotten? Enough. We have plenty. But this one was Christmas themed, and also it was one of those, the kids have a killer going against them, and they find genuine care for each other anyway, that, like, you could argue stuff like The Black Phone and It have, and I love movies like that. I love a good child-based found family. I think teen actors have been some of the most exciting actors we've gotten in a while, and maybe I'm spoiled by saying that because I grew up in the era of It and Stranger Things, and I guess Chilling Adventures of Sabrina kinda counts because Lachlan and Kierna, but that area where teenagers were teenagers, and so I'm glad we're keeping that up. We're moving on to the gender fluid house now, and I did a really weird floor plan in this one. In my head, this one was 2 band members who are both gender fluid. They probably have, like, a punk band that's related to both of them being queer. And I listened to Elliot Lee while filming most of this, except the end where I remembered I needed to finish the first episode of Hot Sauce Summer on Dead Meat, and so I went back and did that. I'm pretty sure Elliot Lee is gender fluid. They're amazing, by the way. If you don't listen to them, you should. Either way, I have all their merch stickers from and their signed poster from where I saw them open for Meet Me at the Altar, and I got to meet them. I'll put a picture on screen somewhere. They are amazing. They're so sweet. If you have the chance to hear Funny Bunny and Easy to Be You live, you absolutely should. But something about the gender fluid pride flag colors, even if I am wrong about them being fluid, but I'm almost completely sure I'm correct there. I think when they posted something and people misunderstood them using American Idiot, they were like, guys, I'm literally gender fluid. I assure you I'm not pro-trans ban, like trans healthcare ban or something like that. I remember that happening, but I could be wrong. But so many people don't know American Idiot is anti-America. That they got shit for it. Oh, yeah. I use that pride painting that's like $800 in here. I've been looking for a place to use it. I also signed up that like collage of pride stuff and added some high school years stuff to it. I know Little Simsy talks about doing that a lot. And she's right, we should. But I don't know, I made this house very eclectic and like kind of strange because they're artists in their own right. They have a music studio upstairs we'll get to later, but yeah. I had a lot of fun with this one. I made it kind of childlike, kind of whimsical. And again, part of that could be because I was thinking of Elliot Lee and like, they have their little bunny theme going on. Funny Bunny Live is so fun. I think all of their music's great, but they are better live. Like, I truly do believe that. If you ever have a chance to see them open or as a headliner, like, don't miss their set. It's great. Since we're talking about music, here's the final Pride Month pick. It's Retrovision by Honey Revenge, who also opened for Meet Me at the Altar at that show. I did not wait in their merch line to meet them, though. It was very long. But the the guitarist is non-binary, and their bassist, tour bassist technically, I think they no longer are touring with them, but they were when I saw them. Tay, who also is part of the Rocky Horror Show, like with the W, the drag thing in LA. They are transmasc, I believe. Transmasc or non-binary. They have they, he pronouns. But they prefer they, them when they're them, and then I think it's he, they, it when they're in drag. I'm not sure. I need to double check that. I'll put that on screen too. But I love Tay. I think they're so cool. Watching their set, I saw them look at the drum and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna do a punk jump off that. This is gonna be great. And if I have a video of that still, I'll post it, but I accidentally deleted most of my camera roll. So I don't know if I still have it. But they are so cool. You should really check them out. I am a huge fan. Their second album's coming out soon. And talking about, I think it's coming out soon. They've been teasing it at least. And speaking of second albums, Jer, who I had in the horror history of queerness video I did a couple weeks ago for the start of Pride Month, they have their second album out for pre-order. The lead single of that one's out. So if you have been taking my music recs, I don't know why you would, but that's something exciting coming out. I love saying I don't know why you would, because you should absolutely not be influenced by me. I'm the biggest hater I know, but I'm like, hater with due process. You've got to earn being hated by me. Like a lot of stuff in The Sims that have earned it, they suck. But we are working on the kitchen. Around this point, my game crashed. I had to fix it. And then that's the point where I decided to move it to a different lot. So here we are now in the world from Growing Together. San Sequoia, I believe. We're on that 40 by 20 lot. I moved it to a smaller lot. Got rid of the third house because it was getting late and I no longer wanted to do it. Mainly because green and blue are like, they're not fun. And maybe that's wrong with me, because the gay flag and the lesbian flag are very similar. They're just different colors. But I think the orange and pink are a lot more fun to work with than teal and blue and green, because, like, those are all kind of just the same color on a spectrum. At least orange has, like, a different undertone from the pink that's in the lesbian flag. Maybe that's wrong with me, but it's my channel. It's my channel, it's my Sims. I can do what I want. Also, in my head, maybe just because I'm always thinking about Glenn and Glinda, one of these characters is AMAB and one is AFAB. I don't know which one. I don't think it matters. Doesn't invalidate or validate anything. Neither room is really set up in either direction. They're kind of both just cluttered and perfumes and stuff of that nature. I use the suitcases from City Living in this room. In my head, this is the guitarist and the other room is the lead singer. But also in my head, this would really be the drummer and the guitarist. Or like the guitarist, lead singer, and they're a duo. However, we don't have drums in this game. So you got lead singer and guitarist, because those are the instruments we do have. I also tried to make all these houses as different as possible. So the other one's 1 sim and a guest room. This one's 2 sims with a music studio. The third one would be a 5 sim household if you're playing with it. I set it up for a toddler, a teen, a kid, and then 2 parents. But yeah, these guys are musicians in my head. They'd probably be in the entertainer career in the game was, because we don't have bands and stuff, but they are in a band to me. Probably one with like some gender-related name. I don't know. In my head, this group was kind of similar to Dream Nails. I don't know, my head was just very aggressively playing they, them while I was building this, which, great song, big fan. I love alternative music. I love queer people in the alternative space. I think they're fun. But this one was really fun for me to build. I use that Get Famous separator to kind of make a separate place for the dresser. There's a cat in this build. I haven't decided who that cat belongs to. I went back and forth with this LED wall for a while. If I was the type who likes going into game mode, I would have made those light up pink, I think, or maybe like magenta. But I did not. Whoops, oh well. But I think around this point is when I started listening to the Saw playlist again. Not playlist, podcast. I hate a podcast, but I will watch the Dead Meat one. I can to watch a podcast. I don't like listening to them like on Spotify. I need to be able to see them. Maybe that's wrong. I know that's kind of not the point. He itchy? I don't know. You probably can't hear her once I voice isolate this, but she's like scratching so hard. Are you okay? Okay. But speaking of Denborough, that's her name, by the way. I think I mentioned that. I have decided to spend the horror part of July talking about Andy Muschieny's version of It, and also the strange way that fandom was about the cast, and how I feel like that cast fandom is what put us in 80s movie hell for a while, because there was a while that every single movie was 80s themed. And I know everyone attributes that to Stranger Things, but I really think it was more It. And like, maybe that's just me because I prefer It to Stranger Things, but I think one of the highest grossing Warner Bros. Movies, that is also the highest grossing Stephen King movie, was a bigger deal to the horror space than the highest grossing Stranger Things show, or Netflix show, in a point where they were just trying to beat out Orange is the New Black. Like, I think people forget how new Netflix originals were with Stranger Things. So many shows have surpassed it. Ratings-wise, Dead Boy Detectives crushed Stranger Things. It's the highest rated one on there. Like, shows keep going over what Stranger Things got all the time, because Stranger Things was so, like, new in the Netflix original space. Like, comparing the numbers they got then, if it was now, wouldn't be the same thing. Like, we would not view it the same, and I think that's why It is the culprit and not Stranger Things. But that's gonna get me a lot of heat. I don't know. We're on the non-binary house, though, and I'd like to show you something. I know I don't normally sit where you can see my chest, but I got my first binder in the mail, and she's not perfectly flat. It looks more like pecs than perfectly flat, but I don't know. I'm really excited about it. It's not that I have an issue with my chest all the time. Like, you can tell through the binder. They're pierced. I like them. But sometimes having them is just awful. Like, would I ever get top surgery? No, not really. Maybe that'll change in a couple years. I don't know. When I don't want them there, I do not want them there. And so it's really exciting. Also, my shirt's wrinkled. I know it is. I just took it out the thread-up packaging. But this one's Tomboy X, which is another binder brand. That's not what my binder is. Again, this is my first day wearing it, so I guess I'll come back and talk about it later. But yeah, I wanted to wait till we got to my flag to show you. Maybe you don't care, but I care. So this kitchen is the one closest inspired by a picture. I think it's AI. Again, I hate Pinterest for how obsessed it is with AI right now, because AI can go to hell. But I found one, it was like this old country kitchen that was like purple and yellow, and I felt like it fit so well. And since this one's a big family, I have them like actively making pizza with like the supplies out, and the pizza cooker, not pizza oven on the counter, and the pizza cookbook from, is it from that pack? I'm not sure. But I don't know, I had a lot of fun. I made this little bump out corner in the kitchen, a chalkboard wall with those decals we got from the toddler update way back when, because I remembered they had a sort of yellowy swatch to it. I used the Parenthood little like cutesy chairs in here. I put a fireplace in here if I remember right. I used that like fake fireplace they gave us in both this one and the aromantic one. I also used the Pride bed in this one. I used that Pride photo thing with the mirrors that I talked about in the lesbian flag one. You can briefly see I just put the little shelf with the flannel on the wall. We'll come back to that later. I'm building like a sort of tiny gallery wall. I tried to put gallery walls in a lot of these because I feel like they really make a space feel human. But I'm not going to pretend I was perfect with it. So here is what I'm considering the boys' room. In my head, they have, like, in my head, the parents are the non-binary ones, but I do have the teen room set up that way. I don't know, maybe it's a situation where one parent is non-binary and then the kids one is and the other 3 are cis. I don't know. That's not for me to decide. You can decide. I can tell you in my head, one is a teacher and one is an artist. So I have an easel in their room, but very well they could just be like a business person and then they paint for fun. Either one works, but I don't know. I'm very excited to have It Month next month, which, like, I want to clarify now, I'm not trying to talk over Disability Awareness Month, but I'm, like, joking that it's going to be Clown Month around here. I feel like a lot of disability and mental health themed horrors do not a great job, and those aren't really something I want to highlight. Like, I love The Unheard, but I don't know. I feel like talking about a movie like The Unheard or Hush, where a woman who is deaf is being, like, hunted down because she's easier to target, isn't the type thing you do, and I feel like a lot of other disability-based horror movies really make, like, a mockery of it, and a lot of mental health-based horror movies make a mockery of it, so that's not something I want to highlight on here. Yes, I love The Unheard as a movie, but I can also understand that some people would definitely have an issue with the fact that one of her focuses is no longer being deaf, which, like, I feel like it's a nuanced place because she's not born deaf, but I'm also not part of the deaf community or the hard of hearing community, and so it's not my place to say. So again, I'm just not gonna do any sort of things in that nature. And since I'm pretty sure there's a scene in Mushini's It where it's 4th of July, or at least it's like Dairy Day, and it's sort of similar to the 4th of July, the way it's set up, I'm gonna do the It movies instead, because it feels more respectful, and also, again, I use a horror to kind of play around with practicing with makeup, and I'm trying to get more passionate about that, and I definitely do not want to do disability-themed makeup because that is mockery, and I don't want to do that on this channel, or in general, so I hope you respect that I'm doing it that way. That being said, give some respect to your disability, like, creators who talk about their disabilities, or are just openly disabled. Throughout that month, listen to them if they are talking about things they need. I mean, I talk about marriage equality. The week this goes up will be 2 days before the 10-year anniversary of Marriage Equality Act, but it's really not, because disabled people still lose their benefits when they get married. Like, my mother does not have her full benefits she had before marrying my father. And I think that's bullshit. Like, disabled people shouldn't lose their health care because they get married. They shouldn't lose their livelihoods because they get married. They barely get a livelihood from that. But in a place where you can't really survive on a without a 2-income household right now, to say we have marriage equality when disabled people are still losing their protections isn't marriage equality. It is for queer people, but it's not a full marriage equality act. But we're gonna get back into the build because I'm getting a little soapboxy right now, and I'm someone who tends to do that. You'll notice if you stick around, but I would like to step away from that right now because this is supposed to be a silly build that's based off of pride flags and not something about politics, even though everything is political, and Pride Month stuff and horror are definitely political, so this month it's kind of impossible not to be. But talking about that while I'm building one of the strangest living rooms I ever built, it's kind of strange. I didn't put a TV in this living room. I have one upstairs in the landing with, like, some beanbag chairs for them to game on it. I felt like these parents probably weren't huge on screen time. I have a computer in the living room, and that's the only computer in the whole build, at least for this house. I have it labeled as just a residential on the gallery. It does use 48 packs though, and it is over 217K. However, that's before it's split up into a rental residential instead of a normal residential. I just know if you don't have the pack for the residentials like that, the rental residentials, that you can't download them. They won't show up on the gallery for you. And so I wanted to make sure if there was a reason someone wanted to download this, they could. That being said, I did some weird shit with the landscaping. Oh, I was watching the Kiss List while building that. That's a fun thing. Non-binary house. I was trying to finish Lachlan Watson's filmography because I only had the Kiss List and Only the Good Survive left, I'm pretty sure. And Only the Good Survive isn't anywhere at all. I've tried every route you can to watch that movie. It's just not out. I'm hoping it gets the treatment that Hell of a Summer got and it ends up coming out soon. Like, it's been 2 years since it was at South by Southwest. It's probably not getting picked up, but we can hope. Speaking of Lachlan Watson and Laverne Cox are both in the Pansy Craze at New York Pride this weekend. And if you are there, I hope you have a really good time. I hope you're really safe. And I hope you are having a great time and staying hydrated. I hope you support the queer arts because that is literally like the best thing you can do for queer artists is just supporting them by being there. But no, I am extremely jealous of you. I'm as jealous of you as I am of the people who got to go to Tribeca and see Queens of the Dead. If you got to see Jack Haven and Katie O'Brien act together, or you get to see live performances from Lachlan Watson and Laverne Cox on the same night. No, I am extremely jealous of you. However, happy Pride to you especially. Congratulations. But that is the end of this one. Thanks for gaming with me, baby. I hope your Pride Month was great. Bye-bye.